Welcome back to another show of For Art's Sake. We are so excited tonight to be here in this lovely space. In February 2020 was our last show. We had to stop because of COVID, and we're back, and things are going to be great. We have great interviews. The artists are very excited to be back in their space, what they call their home. And tonight, we have the pleasure of interviewing rock star Jimi Bell. Well, Jimi Bell, welcome to the show. You're back.
Hey, how are you? Thank you so much for having me back. So, how great is this?
It is, isn't it?
The last show before COVID, 2020.
Yes.
And now I'm the first show back.
You were the last, and you're the first.
See, that says something right there. You can't get enough of me.
It does. It does. We're very happy to have you. So thank you for saying yes.
It's a pleasure to be back. I had such a great time last time.
I did too.
Yeah, and everybody loved the interview. It came out beautiful.
Yes. And it's been such a long time. It's been 3 years. I cannot even believe it. And I know you've had a lot coming your way. You've done so many projects. You're working in so many things. I don't know if 30 minutes is going to be enough. We definitely are looking already for part 3.
Yeah, part 3, because we did say at the end of 2020 we were going to do part 2. So we're here
this
for
is part 2. Yes.
So we'll have to arrange like next week. The heck with the other guests. We'll just keep pushing them forward. I'm only kidding. Who's ever coming on?
Yeah, so where do we start? You have so much going on, and I know you have a new project. So talk to us about it.
Okay, well, the new project that I have is called Demons Down. Mm-hmm. And it's a great story. I could dive into it here. I've been because of House of Lords, I've been with Frontier Records since 2005. That's the label that House of Lords has been on. I've done 9 records with them now. And so I have a good relationship with the company.
Okay.
So Mario had called me, messaged me from, Italy, and that's where the company is. And he says, Jimmy, he says, are you familiar with these supergroup projects that we do? And I was, because they put together artists from all different bands, and they, make a big, cool band from, to put out records with. So he says, are you interested in doing one? And I said, absolutely, because that's a big deal to be able to do one of those. So he told me to go to start sending material to the guy that was going to produce it, who I know very well, Alessandro Del Vecchio. He does a lot of work for Frontier Records. He's on countless projects. He's a producer. He's a keyboard player. He's a singer, everything. So I was sending him, demos for him to work on. Then I find out some of the other members that were going to be involved. I didn't know right off the bat. And when I found out that Ken Mary and Chuck Wright were going to be on this project, I got really interested, because Ken Mary and Chuck Wright are the original rhythm section from the original the House of Lords. So then the whole concept of the band came together for me. Here they are taking the guitar player from 2005, the current House of Lords, combining it with the rhythm section of the original House of Lords to make and it's just great. Those guys are so good too, such talented musicians. Then they brought in the singer from, I think he's from Chile or something. But he's James. He's incredible, and then Francisco, the other guitar player. Just fabulous musicians. And James has a voice that is so powerful that I just love his aggression, the power when he sings. Were you able to see any of the videos? Did you?
I did.
Yeah.
I did, and
So,
they're impressive.
amazing, well, not just, it's just as amazing, is that the videos are almost like little movies.
Yes,
I mean,
they are.
they're like really, really well done.
They are.
I don't even know who they got to make these videos, but they're like beautiful. So I was really impressed when I saw that. But to see, I wasn't familiar with him. He was, I never heard him sing, didn't know anything about him. And then when I finally heard him on the tracks, I was just like floored. I went, wow, this guy is amazing.
So was it the first time you heard him?
Yeah, very first time was him singing on something that I wrote.
Nice.
Yeah, and it just was, mind blowing. I was so, I'm a fan of the legendary, well, I guess you would call him heavy metal. People refer to him as heavy metal. Ronnie James Dio.
Okay.
And of course, Ronnie sang with everybody. Black Sabbath, countless. Rainbow. The list goes on. He had a solo band, but he had a very powerful voice. And James reminds me of that a lot. So I was thrilled to be working with him.
Yeah. So it felt like home.
Yeah, it did.
Yes.
It really did. And the songs came out incredible. Alessandro did a great job writing the lyrics, and he came up with the vocal lines and melodies. So it was great.
Excellent. So is the band touring at this point?
Well, I'm all in.
Okay.
If I could get it together. Now everybody plays in a lot of different things.
Okay.
But I put it out there to the guys. I said I'd really like to take this on the road. So if they come back at me and say, yeah, this is really good. I told Frontiers too. Because they're very impressed with how the band is, the reaction we're getting. All the comments that I get since I posted everything, people are saying it's the best project I've ever done in my life. And I'm going, isn't that funny? I'm 65 years old. This is the best thing I've ever done in my life, But it's funny. So
Sure.
I'll take it. If people dig it, that's all I care about.
Yes, that's what music is all about. And
Yeah.
you've done a lot of amazing projects. And so you're working right now with what other bands?
Well, I'm still with House of Lords. I did their album, and of course, I'm with Autograph still. I'm doing, I've got a whole bunch of dates with them. That was a very sad situation because, we recorded. When I got the offer, I'll just tell you, when Mario started talking to me about the Demons Down project, he happened to he asked me how Autograph was, because he knew I was playing with Autograph. So while we're talking about the Demons Down project, he's also talking to me about Autograph at the same time. So, and I was working on the House of Lords record. So once they came back with a record proposal for Autograph, all of a sudden now I'm in the middle of working on 3 different albums all at once within a 6-7 month period, which, you have to pretty much decide. You look at the singer that you're working with, you look at what the band does, what the genre of music and what direction they're in, and you have to write towards that. So it was pretty cool to be able to switch gears from band to band, But so we had till the end of April last year to turn in the record.
Okay.
But we worked really fast, and the record was, we turned it in 2 weeks early, along with all the artwork and everything, everything that we had to turn in. And, Randy's the one that gave it to the label and everything. And then 2 weeks later, he was gone. It was like that fast, and we were just like devastated. We just couldn't believe it.
So it took everyone by surprise.
Oh,
it was
yeah,
totally
it was, Randy,
unexpected.
Yeah, it was unexpected, but I have to tell you, I know before they hired me into the band, I know Randy had an operation, something with his heart, a stent or something. I don't know what you would call it. But I know he had something done. And I knew that Randy was never like 100% all the time. He was always great on stage. He never let anything bother him when he was on stage. But when he got off stage, he would, disappear, like not feeling well, like maybe in the bathroom or something. I don't know if, what was going on. But it was sad. I knew that there was something not 100%. But for him to pass away that fast was really like, it was instant.
Wow. And you were very close to him.
I was very close. You know, I didn't know him all my life like I've known some people, but sometimes when you connect with somebody, you don't have to know them all your life.
It feels like
yeah,
you,
it feels
you know
right.
them.
You become instant friends. You get a vibe. You
And
just connect
yes,
with that person.
yes.
You know, and that's what it was with Randy and myself. We just we became best friends, almost like brothers. You know, talking. He was thrilled that that I was in the band playing with them, and he loved every time I wrote a song, I'd send it to him. And he'd always be going, I love this. This is great. This is great. You know, so it made him real happy. That I'm thrilled that I was able to make him happy on his last days. You know, and he was so proud of the record. He played incredible on it. Absolutely amazing. He put his heart and soul into that record.
So he finished the whole record.
He finished the whole record. He turned it into the record company, and then 2 weeks later he passed away. And believe it or not, the record company didn't even know what to do at that point because they've never had that situation.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, they said, wow,
how did they deal with
never had
it?
a situation where somebody died, you know, as they turned in a record. So we had to then change the booklet. We had to make a tribute page to him in the booklet. We wanted to, and then the first video that we did, we made it a dedication video for him, putting in clips of him and everything. So yeah, it was.
It's one of those things that just
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's hard. You can't prepare. So
no, you can't prepare.
Yeah,
it's like that's why I'm a huge believer in a man upstairs. You know, I put my faith there because you just never know from day to day. You know, you're talking to someone, next day they're gone. You know, it's like I've had too many of my friends leaving me too early, and I just got to be grateful for the time I have on this earth.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about Autograph? I remember when we last spoke, you were going touring at that point. Did that happen?
Well,
you were going to England.
Yeah. We toured, but England didn't happen. England, the pandemic over in Europe was worse, kept getting worse than it was here. Things kept getting canceled more and more
More often. Yes.
Yeah, more often over in Europe. So now England is rebooked for 2024, unless another pandemic. So please.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully not. But yeah, I have a lot of dates with Autograph coming up. I got a couple cruises coming up, and just a bunch of one-off shows.
Okay.
But I really am, and House of Lords has some dates, but they don't tour enough. The reason I joined, was really happy to join Autograph is because House of Lords just doesn't tour enough. We would go and do a record, then we would, go to Europe, and then before you know it, the 2 or 3 weeks or month is gone, and that's right as you're really moving. Right as you're really getting your groove going, and it's time to go home. And instead of like coming home for a month and then maybe going back, we'd come home and. Okay, let's see. We got to start writing for a new record. Well, God, we didn't even tour enough off this last record,
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, Autograph plays a lot of fly dates in the U.S., and that was another thing. House of Lords did not play much in the States. So basically, with Autograph, I get to go all over the country. You leave on a Thursday, maybe play Friday, Saturday, or leave on a Friday, play Saturday, come home. Yeah, it's one of those things.
But I know that apart from your bands and the shows that you're doing, you're also in a lot of other things. And one of your great projects is that there's a guitar on your name, isn't it?
There's a guitar with my name on it. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yes, I have my own signature guitar with this company, PVX Guitars. They, I've had a lot of endorsements. Endorsements aren't like they used to be back in the day. Like when I was in the 80s, I was with Kramer Guitars, and Kramer Guitars was the biggest guitar company in the world during the 80s. Eddie Van Halen was with them. The president of Kramer saw me play, and he fell in love with me. He just he loved the way I played guitar. So before you know it, I was given like 15 guitars for free. I would go and they had their factory in Neptune, New Jersey. So I'd drive down there, They'd give me parts, anything I want. I could walk in the factory and
Yes.
take anything. And they wanted to do this big campaign with me for a lot of different things, but it just changed. Companies aren't like that anymore. You have to be a mega star.
Okay, so you mean they're not so given?
They're not so giving anymore
Okay.
unless you're like, really, really huge.
Okay.
So I've always, I like to help out the little, the companies that are independent companies, because they make really good guitars and not just banging them out. They take the time. A lot of them are just handmade one by one. So I've had a few companies doing that. My buddy Dale Roberts in Jacksonville, Florida, Roberts Guitars, he built me tons. I've worked with him on a bunch of stuff. Viper Guitars out in California, they did a whole bunch for me. Then this company from North Carolina, PVX Guitars, got in touch with me, and he sent me something. We worked on a couple things, and then I really wanted a little bit different design. So he was really willing to do whatever I wanted. So we worked on a new design. He made this part to a tremolo that I couldn't get anywhere. He had it custom made for me at a machine shop, and that showed me a lot that he wanted to do this. So yeah, I have my own signature guitar with the company. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah,
How does it feel?
Oh, it feels great. Yeah, I mean, I play the guitars, so it's not. It's one of these things where a lot of people might have a guitar. They say they're endorsing a guitar, but they don't actually play it. They play something else. I play these.
Okay.
Like I'm sure in some of the pictures that will go along with your nice video, you'll see that guitar.
Yes, and I know you're left-handed, but they also make them right-handed.
Yeah, being left-handed's a nightmare. I'm telling you, it's been my whole life. It's been a nightmare being left-handed.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always been difficult to find guitars. I can't walk into a store like Guitar Center
and just pick up a guitar
they got 500 guitars on the walls. And they're all right-handed. They might have one left-handed guitar in the center.
Interesting.
It's terrible because it's very, very difficult to get them. And usually they don't have. If they have them, it's not a great quality guitar.
Okay.
So I think that's another reason I go for the underdog. The companies that are really trying, because they put a lot of effort into making a good quality instrument.
Do you come across many musicians that are left-handed?
No.
No, that's
No,
not. It's uncommon.
I mean, I know a bunch just because I'm left-handed, and then there's they have all these chat rooms and these Facebook pages that are for left-handed guitarists and stuff. So you meet a lot of people, but I haven't. On the road, I might have come across like 2 or 3 people that were left-handed in my life.
Okay.
And they all tell the same story. It's not easy. And if you're into vintage guitars, like if you want something that's a classic guitar, like from 1960 or a Fender Strat that was actually built in the 60s, a right-handed one alone is going to be expensive. But if you could find a left-handed one, it's going to be almost untouchable price-wise.
Interesting, isn't it?
Crazy.
Interesting. And so, okay, so we've had you have your own guitars, and you've also been inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, into the New England Music Hall of Fame.
New England Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
so
now
tell us about it, because I know it was in March 2020 when it was supposed to happen, and then it was postponed because of COVID. And
it
then
got postponed so many times. We were supposed to do this at there was supposed to be a very big ceremony at where they were actually had already started selling tickets for it. So there was this, we were going to do it at this big venue that had a big stage. And there was going to be performances, everything else, but it just couldn't get it together because of the situation, because of COVID. So every time they booked a date, something would happen, and another spike would happen, and then things got shut down again. So they ended up saying, we got to do this. So they decided to get people together at this recording studio in West Haven. And I went there only expecting to be about the 4 people that I knew that were getting inducted. Yeah, there was 4 of us that were, that I knew were going in. It was a miserable, pouring rain day. I mean, pouring torrential downpour, of course. The parking was not good. You're walking into place. You got to walk through mud to get into the place. And I walk in, and there was like 20 to 30 people in there. There were other people. He didn't tell us that they were going to have everybody that was being inducted into, from different categories all there at that time.
Okay.
It was like, oh, what a nightmare. So each of us had to go downstairs and do they videotaped our acceptance speech. And then finally, the 4 musicians that I knew that I was supposed to be inducted with went upstairs into the big studio room, and we jammed like 4 songs, and they filmed it while we were jamming together.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Yeah, it was nice. It was a nice, intimate. It ended up being a really cool thing. They gave us our award, and and that was it. It's just nice. It was cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
And life has changed for you. I know that since we last talked, you're no longer a single man.
No, ladies, I'm off the market.
Just so you know.
Just so you know, I'm not available anymore. Wipe your tears. My Mandy, I love her more than anything in the world. She's my heart and soul. When you find somebody you've waited all your life for, it's really amazing. I've never, I'm not going to lie, I've been in a lot of relationships, married a couple times, and, it's very, very difficult to be in a relationship with a musician.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. You heard her. Unless you're in the music business too, then they could, relate.
Sure.
So, I mean, look, I'm older. I'm not in my 20s and stuff, but there's always the fact of, every relationship I've been in, and there's always been some kind of like, insecurities, either a jealousy or something like that, that you can't be like that. And I'm not like that anyway, my eyes aren't wandering, like I said, I'm not in my 20s. And on top of that, Mandy was the only person that I found in my life that supported my music career, like really, like
supported it and encouraged it.
Yeah, encouraged it.
Yeah.
Even financially, she supported. Like, if I, needed something that, and I, if she knew that it was important to me, she would get it. That was just like amazing, because it's very hard to find someone that will really support this business, because it's such a crazy business. And it's stressful, and let's face it, music business, you don't make a lot of money in it, but she knew that, it is what it is. You have my income tax is different every year. I have great years, I have bad years, because you don't have a steady paycheck.
There's many variables.
Yeah.
And even when you're touring and when you're away, I assume a couple of weeks, and then you come back. Not everybody can understand that and be supportive, as you said.
Well, what the thing is
hard.
too, is that most of the people aren't like me. Like, most people in the music business are normal and have normal jobs. I don't have a normal job. I never have. Music has been my job forever.
Yes.
I've always been a musician. I've always lived this lifestyle. It's like I've always managed to find something musically to do. I have worked in a music store, but like I said, everything that I've done, whether it be teaching some guitar or anything, was always music related.
Yes.
And so nowadays you find yourself doing a lot of projects for people, playing on people's records, doing this, doing that. And that's how you supplement a lot of your income when you're not working all the time.
And it's your passion.
Yeah,
you
you
know,
know,
and not everyone gets to work on their passion and that thing that drives them, and that's in itself very inspiring because, you know, a lot of people are talented in certain things and they just don't dedicate their lives to that, and they live frustrated
well, let's
because,
put it
you
this,
know.
let me tell you this too. Honestly, and I always tell young musicians, like when I do interviews, sometimes they ask this question, what advice do you have to young musicians that are out there? And my answer to them is, number one, stay away from drugs and alcohol. That's one of the first things I tell them because it's not going to do you any good at all. And number three, which is the real important one, is you really should have a backup plan because music is very, very difficult. I don't want someone going in and doing what I did, you know, just banking your whole life on just doing music because once you're in it, like I gave myself a time limit.
You did?
Yeah, I did. When I was younger, I said by the time I started at 25, and I said, well, if I don't do something, you know, by the time I'm 25, I'm gonna, you know, start looking for something different. Then I pushed it up to 30, and then I went to 35, and then when 40 was coming, I said, well, if I don't, you know, if I'm not doing something by the time I'm 40 years old, I got to, you know, I definitely have to go find something else. But then 40 came and went, 45 came, 50, you know, and then now I just celebrated my 65th birthday.
I was going to ask you about that.
So,
but since you brought it up.
Yeah. You know, so I celebrated my 65th birthday and I'm still doing this. It's like, so I guess what I'm trying to say is I am driven beyond driven. And I've always been like that. I still play my guitar countless hours. I write so many songs. You know, I can write, sometimes I write 2 or 3 songs a day. Or I'll go a span of not writing songs and all of a sudden it's like boom, boom, boom. They all start coming.
They'll come together, yes.
So you have to be a bit insane, a bit crazy, but you have to be driven. And it's ever since I started playing guitar, you know, I was a drum major first from ages 10 to 13. Then I, you know, picked up the guitar late 13 and really got into it at 14. But once I had a guitar in my hand, I never put the thing down. I mean, it took me over. It was like, it became not just an instrument, something I wanted to do for fun. I became obsessed with it.
Yes, yes.
So I guess you have to, if you really want to go for it, you got to, you know, get your mind into it and really just give it your all.
Yes. Well, as you said, you know, you were lucky to find your passion, and that's just what drives you.
Yeah, I mean, I have no regrets. I mean, do I wish I had, knew how to do something else? Sure, I wish I knew how to do something else. You know, you know, everybody wishes they knew how to do something else. But do I have any regrets of the choices I made about, you know, really giving music my full career? No, no, because I've had an amazing career. I've done so many things. I've met so many people and done things that most people don't get the opportunities in life to do. So I'm very blessed. I mean, I haven't made, you know, like the Eddie Van Halen that big time, you know, that or whatever, you know, that's, you know, status. But I've had a successful career. In this business.
And that's what you know. You know your career, but I can't imagine all the people that you have inspired that you don't even know about.
Well,
that see you as a role model.
Well, believe it or not, I get that so much. Like if I post something, say on Facebook, like a video of me playing, I get so many people commenting and they'll send me private messages and like Messenger and stuff. They say, Jimmy, I've been following you for years. I can't begin to tell you the inspiration that you have given me throughout my life. You made me want to practice. You made me this. And, you know, even one of my buddies that ended up being a quite famous guitar player, matter of fact, he just got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He always mentioned me as his main influence. And that was, you know, things like that, just knowing that I've helped other people follow their dream, well, that's a great feeling.
And I'm not a guitar player, and I see your post
You dig
on
it. I know you
Facebook,
dig it.
and I see you so dedicated that whatever I'm doing, you're inspiring because it shows how structure and committed you are, and that's why you're good because you practice and you practice and you get better all the time.
Yeah, it's weird. What's even really, really strange, I guess, is that at this point in my life, I've had more opportunities firing at me than I've had in my younger days. And I sometimes I look at that and go, why now? Why not when I was in, younger, more in my prime maybe or whatever. But, this is God's plan. God wanted me to have whatever's coming, wanted me to have it now. So as long as I'm alive and kicking, I'm going to accept it, right?
And it may be the case, I don't know, that maybe you're aware now. You're aware of those opportunities.
Yeah.
And you take advantage because you've had a living, you've had experiences that have, mature you in a way that you can really now enjoy and, again, be aware and satisfy what you're doing.
Now, here's another thing. For example, since 2020, about a year into it, when I was doing with House of Lords now, I used to, the drummer that was in that band, BJ Zampa, he had his own recording, he had a recording studio at his house. Every time I would write something, I would just go over there. He lived 10 minutes away from me. It wasn't a big deal. But he's no longer with us. He's playing drums for Dokken now. And so when I was doing the records and all these other projects started firing at me at the same time, I was forced to get my own recording studio and learn it. I was always scared to do it because I was never, computer suave.
Okay, savvy. Yeah.
Well, don't forget, when I went to school, there was no such thing as a computer.
No, yes.
Yeah, there was. You didn't even know what a computer was. They had typing class on a typewriter when I went to school. I graduated in '76. So there wasn't any computers except at Nassau. But so. I was always a little afraid to try certain things. I'm comfortable playing guitar, not afraid to experiment with that. But when it came time to technology, I mean, my wife will tell you that when I first met her, she had an iPhone when they first came out with the iPhones, and I had a flip phone. It came time for my upgrade. I went and got another flip phone. I could have got the iPhone. And she yelled at me. She goes, "You mean you got the same phone?" So when we would text, it would take, you had to do the numbers 3 times each time. She goes, "What are you doing?" So,
yes.
Yeah, it took me a while.
So how did you go about the studio? Did you?
Yeah, once I tried a couple programs, and a buddy of mine, Nano, who has a studio at his house that I used to go over and do some recording at, he recommended this program because it was very user-friendly. He says, you'll be able to do this program. So easy was what I was looking for. So he came and loaded this into my computer. I bought the software. I bought what I needed to record with, anything I needed to record with. And once I got the hang of it and started really rolling with it, I got it, I believe, 21, yes, 20 November of Black Friday of 21 on November. Okay, I ended up buying the package that day. Okay, they had a sale on it for Black Friday. Since that time, I have over 200 songs that I've written in the computer.
Nice.
Just, because I'm constantly writing. And that's not even included some of the stuff that I've already taken off the computer for all the records, that I've done. So, the idea is once I had this tool, it was nonstop for me.
Yes. So now you say that you learned it?
Yeah, I learned it. The only thing I don't know how to do is build drums. I have a drum template that I use.
Okay.
So, and that's all I really need because I'm doing a lot of demo stuff. But when I do my demos, I record my guitars for real. Like, in other words, I'm using my real amp, everything. In other words, so if I do a demo to a drum, like the drum beat's just going, like that to it, and I'll change the tempo for whatever tempo the song is. But I will record guitar tracks. So in other words, if someone says, "Oh, okay, send me the stems for that song," I could just send them and I'm done.
Okay. Okay.
So they're ready to go. My demos are pretty much, my parts are done. I got a bass, so I play the bass. I play all the guitar tracks and everything. It's a blast.
Yes.
You know?
And since you're talking about that, and this might be part 3 of our conversation, but how is your creative process? Because you're talking about these songs that you create constantly. What can you share with us about your creative process?
Well, it's kind of strange. A lot of times things come to me at the weirdest times. I'm a very early riser, like earlier than you think. Like I am.
4 in the morning?
I get up at 3 a.m. every
Okay.
morning. I have my coffee and my breakfast, and then I head out on an 8-mile walk. I'm usually out by 3:30 a.m. walking 8 miles.
Wow.
So I get that done, and then when I come back, I pick up the guitar and I start playing a little bit. And I can't tell you how many times in my life that the songs that I'm working on and that I've recorded, ideas have come to me that early in the morning. So it seems like
I believe you.
Yeah, it seems like that is the time when I start creating. As the day goes on, I might just start practicing scales and stuff. But so sometimes I'll work on a song, and then in the morning, and then I'll have like a few parts. And what I do is I take my phone, my iPhone, and I have a little practice amp, one in my room and one downstairs, wherever I have a guitar, wherever I happen to be. And when I come up with this idea, I immediately record it on my phone, on the memo, where it says memo. I put it down there, and I record the idea, because if I don't do it right away, I'm going to forget it.
Yes.
So I record the parts that I have, I come up with, and then I can revisit it, and then I start creating the song. So that's kind of like how it happens. Some ideas I still have that I started a while back and I haven't finished yet. Other times, like one of the last things that I did, the whole song just came to me within minutes. I was just doing one thing, and then all of a sudden the second part came, the third part, and then boom, it was done. I said, I'm going to go record this.
Okay.
This is time to do this. So I just went and did it. It wasn't anything that I worked on for that long, and that's one of the good things. And I record different things too. So it's not just rock stuff. Like I'm working with this country, I'd say country rock girl named Elena Ray. She's out of Nashville. And I'm sending her tracks. Now, I don't write lyrics.
Okay, I was going to ask you.
Yeah, no, I'm not a lyric writer. So I write only music. So I've already sent her like 22, 23 songs of music. Country music isn't country music anymore. Country music is rock music.
Yes.
You go see, like I love Keith Urban. You go see Keith Urban and stuff. They got the real heavy guitars drop, but it has great beats and everything. So.
Yes.
And I think a lot of that started when Shania Twain came out. Like when Shania Twain, when she was married to Mutt Lange, as we know, was this big producer for Def Leppard, AC/DC, produced many big rock acts. Well, he kind of brought that vibe into her style.
Sound.
Yeah, into her sound. Then all of a sudden, Shania Twain's records are taken off because she becomes like a country rock artist, along with the ballads, and everything. But still, she had these really great songs, that had great beats to it. So I'm kind of like doing, for Elaine, I'm doing like a cross between like Keith Urban, Shania Twain, and AC/DC.
Okay.
So I'm kind of trying to give her that type of vibe, and we'll see what comes out of it. But
she's a young artist?
No, she's a little bit older, but yeah, she looks young, looks great. Big, huge, long blonde locks, the whole thing,
Nice.
Yeah, it's cool.
Nice, very good. I've heard about a lot of musicians that have that inspirational moment in those early hours, 4 or 5, and I can understand it's like so silent, and I imagine, because I'm a writer and I also get those vibes like at that time. No one is like around, so you're like you can get in your bubble.
Yeah. It's a zone thing. Like a lot of people ask me, wow, you're crazy. You're getting up that early and walking. When I get up that early and you know, I live in a good neighborhood, so you know, I'm walking in the dark, but I'm walking. It's a very residential. You know, and I do a lot of circles. I'm constantly circling the same loops.
Okay.
So if people are ever looking out their window, they're going to think I'm out of my mind. But they'll call the cops on me. I'll see a cop come on. You know, it gives me a lot of time to think. Like I wake up, and because of the fact that I'm so into, you know, music and guitar, my mind doesn't shut off a lot. So my sleep time is very limited. I find myself going to bed a lot earlier now than I used to. It's very difficult for me to stay up, you know, 10 o'clock or anything. You know, it just is. You know, I was almost in bed when you called me to come to the show. Like, hey, where are you?
It's interesting that you say that because, you know, maybe out of ignorance, but thinking on a you know, rock star, you're thinking that they go to bed like at 12 or, you know, 1 o'clock in the morning. Like that's your image of someone that is always on the road. And, you know, so hearing you say that you go to sleep early is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you're away though, and you have to do shows, you know, your whole schedule changes. And I got to tell you, I have a very many times I have a very difficult time sleeping on the road. Not because of any other reason. It's just I'm always thinking like every show we do, we always arrive a day ahead of time.
Okay.
So a lot of times when we arrive a day ahead of time, my mind is thinking about that show that I got to play, and I'm always, you know, I'm worried about. I want to make sure I'm going to play great, practice, and that's on my mind. When I go to the hotel room, and I get myself, you know, my suitcase open and stuff. My guitar is right on the bed with me, like at all times. It sleeps. I put it on a pillow. I put a little blanket on it. I talk to it at night. Are you okay? No, but I have it on the bed. So if I wake up and I want to play or whatever, you know, I don't want to have to go across the room. I can just open my eyes and grab the guitar and play. But the problem is when I have a show to do the next day, sometimes my mind is so focused on that, I can't fall asleep, and that's a nightmare.
And that has always been like that?
Well, not always. Sometimes I have no problem going to sleep. I'll get to the place, and you know, I'll fall asleep early. But other times, it's like very, very difficult. I can't stand that because I'm doing everything I can. You know, put pillows all over my head and. You know, I have I have an app on my phone that, you know, does white noise because I love sleeping with that. And, but sometimes it just doesn't work, you know.
Okay.
But for some reason, and I've had this happen a couple times, that even if I haven't slept and I have to go do the show the next day, as exhausted as I might be, as soon as I hit the stage, the adrenaline kicks in, and it's like it never, like it doesn't affect me.
Yes, interesting, very interesting.
Yeah.
So what are your next show, next event?
I'm leaving on a cruise next week.
Oh yes,
yeah,
you said something about a cruise.
The '80s rock cruise out of LA.
For how long?
That one's a week.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to be gone a week, and then. I have shows in April with Beyond, a lot of shows in April. April's pretty packed between Beyond Purple and Autograph. And then at the end of April, we play Mohegan Sun with Autograph. And then right after Mohegan Sun, we have to fly directly to Florida to catch the cruise ship that's leaving for the Monsters of Rock cruise. So that's going to be very
back to back.
It's back to back. So that's going to be hectic. Mohegan Sun. You know, then we got to make sure because we can't, you know, can't miss the cruise ship.
you
it's
have
not like
to be there.
You get, you know, like arrive a little late. That cruise, hey, can you drive me in the ocean there? No, you got to bring me there.
Yes,
like a helicopter.
Hey. We didn't talk about Beyond Purple.
Yeah, they're a great band. They're my dear friends. Now that has my buddy BJ Zampa. Who's been with me forever, one of my best friends. You know, him and I have been working together since 1999, 98, 99 on everything. We always try to work together on several different things. So he drums in that. Mike Gill, who's an incredible singer. Mark Zito on the keys, he's great, and Brian Camilleri on the bass.
When I first saw you, baby, you took my breath away. I knew your name was trouble, but my heart got in the way. Couldn't stop myself from reaching out. I could not get away. I don't even know your name, can't leave you alone. I'm running around in circles like a dog without a bone. I know the game you're playing, but baby, I just can't let go. So give me all your love tonight. Give me all your love tonight. I'll do anything you want. Just give me all of your loving tonight. I work hard every day. Love to treat you right. I rock you in the morning and roll you in the night. And when you want me, babe, I'm gonna prove my love to you. So give me all your love tonight. Give me all of your love tonight. Yeah, I'll do anything you want. Give me all of your loving tonight. 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 So give me all your love tonight. Give me all your love tonight. I'll do anything you want. Just give me all of your loving tonight. Yeah! So give me all your love tonight. Give me all your love tonight. I'll do anything you want. Give me all of your loving tonight. Wow! I was blinded by your smile, a grin above your mouth. I shiver and I shake when I hear my baby talk. I'm full of loving day. Give me all your love tonight. So give me all your love tonight. Give me all of your love tonight. And I'll do anything you want. Give me all of your loving tonight. Anything you want, love me. So give me all your love tonight. Give me all of your love tonight. I'll do anything you want. Give me all of your loving tonight. 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 Thank you so much.
Beyond Purple, what it is, you know, growing up, I was a Deep Purple fanatic. I absolutely loved the band. But there was so many things that branched off of Deep Purple. I watched all these other musicians that joined something to do with Deep Purple and then ventured off on their own. So I had the idea of Beyond Purple, which meant, you know, we're going to do Deep Purple. We're going to cover all the, you know, there were 3 different singers. We're going to, actually there were 4 at one point, but we're going to cover the singers for Deep Purple. But then we're going to go into Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow. And then from there, we'll go into Whitesnake. And then we're looking at all the artists that were in Rainbow, like the singers, Ronnie James Dio, for one, that was in there. And then he went to Black Sabbath and then on his own and stuff. So even Ian Gillan, who was the Deep Purple singer for a good, you know, the real, for the Machine Head, all those albums, he went in the Black Sabbath for one record and then had a solo band. So it's endless. If you're doing something called Beyond Purple, it's endless what you could do for your catalog. It really is.
Nice. So I don't want to put you in a spot, but which band or which project are you right now like most invested in? Is
Well,
there
I mean, Beyond Purple
Beyond-
is my. But yeah, they're my local guys.
Okay.
You know, so that band is always my go-to. They're my buddies, and you know, it's great because, you know, that's so different than what these other things are. This other thing is all original music, all the other stuff, and Beyond Purple is my fun. You know, because we're doing all. I used to be in so many other cover bands, but I wanted to limit it down to just Beyond Purple, and because here's the problem too, locally, I didn't want to spread myself out too thin. So like a lot of us, like even Mike and Mark were in another band called Equinox for a while, and Brian played in a whole bunch of other bands, the bass player. And what happens is, if people could go and see you play with a whole bunch of other bands all during, you know, the time, it will take away from the draw from that one particular band that you really want the people to come see. So we make it more of an event. You know, we all kind of decided that this is going to be our project.
Okay.
Let's make this our main thing. As far as covers go, you know,
Sure.
instead of all of us playing a whole bunch of cover bands.
That's true.
So that's what we did. As far as my other thing, you know, I love House of Lords. I love Autograph. Don't get me wrong by any means. But I'm putting a lot of my efforts into the Demons Down project because it's new, it's exciting, and I'm really into the musicians that are involved in it because they're incredible. I mean, getting to work. I know you might not be familiar with Ken Mary and Chuck Wright from the original House of Lords, but that rhythm section, they are phenomenal musicians. So getting to work with them was a big deal for me.
Okay.
And then once I heard the singer James, once I heard his voice, I was like floored because I always wanted, I wanted those songs. When I was doing the demos and I heard what was coming back, I wanted a singer to sing just like that on those songs. So imagine like, you know, you write a song and you give it to a singer and it comes back and you go,
not really.
That's not what I was really hoping
yes.
for, but okay.
Okay.
But with the Demons Down thing, everything you sent back was like, yes!
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, this is it. This is what I'm looking for. I'm always messaging him, God, I love your
I
voice,
want the
dude.
jackpot.
Dude, you're the best, man. I'm always just, you know, hammering him with, you know.
Nice. And it is in YouTube, isn't it?
Yeah.
The album I Stand?
Yeah, I Stand. The 2 videos are out. I Stand and Disappear. I wrote both of those tracks.
Okay.
The album comes out March 10th. And, you know, hopefully we'll get the tour with it, you know. And
I'm sure you will.
yeah, I'm hoping, you know.
You will.
And I'll have the support of my lovely wife. She's right behind me all the time.
Nice.
Just like, you know, really, you know, egging me on and, you know.
Yes.
It's tough being with me. It really is. I'm an easygoing guy. I mean, believe me, well, she makes a joke and says I'm high maintenance. I don't think I'm high maintenance, really.
Well, you arrived pretty quick. You know,
Let me tell you
I got to give you that.
Yeah, I got here quick, and I got ready. I mean, listen, I prep myself pretty fast to get here. But she's, you know, to have that support in your life and everything.
That's a blessing in itself.
It is. You got to have a partner in your life that you love more than anything, and that really is. It makes things a lot easier in your life.
Yes. Well, Jimmy, it's always a pleasure to have you at the show.
I don't want to stop. I want to keep going.
But we definitely have part 3.
Yeah.
Because with you, I think the stories never end. We'll have more projects and, you know, your career. We love to hear everything that you're doing.
Well, you know what?
Thank you so much.
I was really looking forward to coming back on your show because I loved the way it came out. When I saw the video finally of everything, it was incredible.
Yes.
So, and you're a great host.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, Jimmy.
And guess what? You didn't even have to use your glasses.
I didn't. Oh my God.
You were flipping them around like this, like you wanted to put them on, but you know, I don't really need these.
Well, I didn't need to. I didn't need to. So thank you so much for being here. It won't be the last. And I wish you the very best in all of your projects, everything you do. We always keep up. Myself and Michael. Michael is, you know, behind the scenes.
Yeah,
and,
he's great.
You know, we always know what you're doing and love to have you here.
Oh, it was a pleasure, and thank you for having me.
Of course.
Thank you, honey.
Thank you.